Women over 60, a journey of inspiration and newfound freedom. At 60, Clara found herself standing at the crossroads of reinvention. After decades of nurturing her family, she embraced a newfound freedom, enrolling in painting classes. Each brushstroke became a testament to her dreams, vibrant and unapologetic. Meanwhile, Ruth, a retired teacher, embarked on solo travels, discovering hidden gems in quaint towns and savoring local cuisines. Their journeys intertwined at a community art fair, where they shared stories of resilience, laughter, and the exhilarating joy of pursuing passions long set aside. 1. Grandma Moses, Anna Mary Robertson Moses. The grandma, who made art history, started at 78. She began painting seriously after her health no longer allowed her to embroider. Achievements. Her naive-style paintings gained fame and were exhibited at the Museum of Modern Art in New York. By age 100, she had created over 1,500 works. Message: life is what you make it, no matter when you start. 2. Diana Nyad, the swimmer who broke records at 64. The impossible challenge. At 64, she became the first person to swim from Cuba to Florida, 177 km, without a shark cage after 4 failed attempts. Lesson: you're never too old to chase your dreams. Find a way to conquer your fears. 3. Iris Apfel, the ageless fashion icon. Fame at 90. Known for her bold, eclectic style, she became a global fashion icon in her twilight years. Life philosophy. Style isn't about money or age. It comes from the heart and the courage to be yourself. 4. Nguyen Thi Mui, the 80-year-old literacy sower. A meaningful mission. At 80, she opened a free literacy class for underprivileged children in Hanoi, despite her declining health. Wish. Seeing children learn to read brings me more joy than any luxury. 5. Julia. Hurricane Hawkins, the 100-year-old track star world record. At 100, she became the oldest athlete to compete in a 100-meter race in the U.S., finishing in 1 minute and 2 seconds. Secret: I never sit still. I keep moving and focus on positive things. 6. Jane Goodall, the tireless environmentalist. A lifetime of dedication. From her 60s to now, age 90, she has traveled the world advocating for wildlife and environmental conservation. Message: every day on Earth is a chance to make a difference. Age won't stop you from taking action. 7. Lee Thi Mai, the herbal tea entrepreneur at 62. From retirement to business. Using traditional knowledge, she built a herbal tea brand from medicinal plants, creating jobs for local women. Quote, "Old age isn't for waiting, it's for doing what you've never done before." 8. Tao Por Chon Lynch, the yoga teacher who inspired at 98 boundless energy. Until her passing at 101, she taught yoga and danced passionately. Philosophy: age is just a mindset. Breathe deeply and live fully in every moment. 9. Kathy Vaughn, the 94-year-old college graduate. A dream deferred. After raising 5 children and retiring, she earned a bachelor's degree in history at 94. Declaration: it's never too late to become the best version of yourself. 10. The unsung heroes. Quiet acts of inspiration. Beyond famous names, millions of women over 60 inspire through small, heartfelt actions. A grandmother learning English to chat with her overseas grandchildren. A volunteer comforting cancer patients. A craftswoman preserving cultural heritage. Final message: whether you're a trailblazer or an everyday hero, your 60s and beyond are the time to embrace freedom that busy youth couldn't offer. Dare to try something new. Spread love with a heart full of wisdom. Let 60 plus be the start of your most radiant chapter. 11. Vera Wang, the ageless fashion designer journey. From a fashion editor to a designer at 40, she only truly flourished at 60. Challenge: proving that creativity isn't age-dependent in an industry that worships youth. Message: passion and perseverance can defeat societal bias. Being 60 plus is a time to redefine success, not retire. 12. Dr. Gladys West, the invisible scientist behind GPS Journey, worked quietly in STEM, a field with few women of color, and only gained recognition at 87. Challenge: overcame barriers of gender, race, and age in science. Message: silent dedication can still change the world. Don't let society make your worth invisible just because of age. 13. Mary Hobson, Russian literature translator, at 74. Journey: started learning a complex language from scratch at retirement age, translating a 1,200-page classic. Challenge: broke the notion that learning is only for the young. Message: the brain doesn't expire. Old age is a chance to unlock intellectual potential long asleep. 14. Phyllis Sues, dancer and skydiver at 95. Journey: continually pushed her physical limits through demanding activities like tango, yoga, and skydiving. Challenge: fought the belief that old age equals sickness and weakness. Message: mental strength fuels youthfulness. Age can't hold you back if you don't set the limits yourself. 15. Nguyen Thi Ngoc, Vietnam's forest mother and environmental guardian. Journey: channeled the grief of losing her son in a natural disaster into a love for nature. Challenge: faced deforestation and community apathy. Message: a mother's love transcends time and space. Environmental protection isn't an obligation, it's an act of love for future generations. 16. Wang Deshun, China's silver-haired heartthrob. Journey: transitioned from stage actor to model, defying the fashion world's obsession with youthful beauty. Challenge: changed how society views aging appearances. Message: confidence is the most luxurious cosmetic. Women deserve to shine at any age. 17. Dr. Ruth Westheimer, the trailblazing sex therapist. Journey: used humor and honesty to shatter the stereotype that older people don't care about intimacy. Challenge: faced stigma for discussing sexuality openly at an older age. Message: self-discovery is a lifelong journey. Age doesn't erase the need for love and connection. 18. Lillian Weber, grandmother, who sewed 1,000 dresses for poor children. Journey: turned the grief of losing her husband into motivation to help African children. Challenge: kept her drive alive despite limited health and time. Message: small acts of kindness can ripple far. True happiness comes from giving, not receiving. 19. The Raging Grannies, the fierce grandmother's journey, used art to fight for justice, proving that aging doesn't mean passivity. Challenge: fought against the stereotype that older women should stay in their place. Message: age brings power. Experience helps them see through social issues and speak out bravely. 20. You, the woman writing her own story. Journey: encouraging readers to see 60+ as a fresh chapter, not a final one. Message: everyone is the author of their own life. A legacy doesn't have to be grand. It can be the love you share every day. Recurring themes: challenging age. Stereotypes. From STEM to the arts to sports, these women show that ability isn't age-bound. Transforming pain into power. Many channeled personal loss, a child, a spouse, into community impact. Freedom in aging. Free from the burdens of career and family, they lived true to their passion and values. Legacy of love. The greatest success at 60+ isn't fame. It's the positive influence on future generations. Final lesson. 60+ is not a finish line. It's the moment you have enough experience to live without regrets, enough courage to love without conditions, and enough wisdom to know you are still in the middle of your journey, not at the end. 21. Maggie Kuhn, founder of the Grey Panthers movement. Journey. Forced into retirement at 65, she refused to step back and instead founded a movement to fight for seniors' rights. Challenge: battled against age-based discrimination in society. Message: aging is not an endpoint. It's a moment to speak up, rise, and spark change. One person can still shake the system. 22. Sister Madonna Buder, the Iron Nun. Competing in Ironman at 86. Journey: started running at 48 and became a symbol of resilience in the grueling Ironman competitions. Challenge: pushed through physical limits, and broke religious stereotypes that nuns should remain in quiet service. Message: faith is not only found in prayers but in every determined step forward. It's never too late to begin a new chapter. 23. Mae Musk, model and nutritionist. Thriving in her 70s journey. A single mother who raised 3 children, she returned to the runway and became a face of global brands in her 60s and beyond. Challenge: confronted rigid beauty standards and ageism in the fashion industry. Message: beauty doesn't expire. Women don't have to be eternally young to be seen. They just need to be themselves. 24. Masako Wakamiya, Japan's oldest iPhone app developer. Journey: started learning to code at 81 to build an app for older adults. Challenge: entered the world of tech late in life, proving that seniors are far from tech illiterate. Message: learning has no limits. Age doesn't make you outdated. Refusing to learn does. 25. You, the woman. Reading these words. Journey: you may have never been on stage, run a marathon, or coded an app, but you live every day with strength, kindness, and love. Message: a great journey doesn't have to be glamorous. Sometimes, simply living with honesty, love, and curiosity is already a story worth telling. Expanded message: being 60 plus isn't just a milestone. It's the gateway to freedom and the power to choose how you want to live. It's the time when you no longer live to please others. Aren't afraid to ask questions, try new things, or say no. Refuse to be confined by other people's definition of success. Remember, the world needs your story. Every wrinkle is a line written by time, and every step forward is a mark of your courage. If you'd like, I can help turn this content into a small book, a blog series, or even a powerful media campaign for women 60 plus. Got any specific ideas in mind? Women 60 plus, it's time to shine your own way. You don't need permission to start again. You don't need society's validation to live fully. All you need is one thing: to believe you are worthy. Why you should start living more radiantly than ever. 1. Aging is a privilege, not a burden. You've spent decades caring for your family, carrying responsibilities, sacrificing for others. Now is the time to live for yourself, unapologetically. Sign up for that class you've put off. Travel to the place you've always dreamed of. Dress how you want, even if it's not age-appropriate. 2. Your body isn't old. It's a warrior. Every wrinkle, every scar, tells the story of a life well lived. You don't need the perfect figure. You need strength, flexibility, and self-love. Try yoga, dance, swimming, or walking. Move in a way that brings you joy. 3. 60 plus is the perfect time to learn something new. You're never too late to learn a language, use social media, or even start a business. In fact, you may learn faster, because you learn with heart and experience. Learn like you're 20, but without the fear of being judged. 4. You are a living example for future generations. Your children and grandchildren don't need you to be perfect. They need to see a vibrant role model, a woman who dares to love, make mistakes, and begin again. Show the next generation that happiness is a choice, not a reward for youth. A challenge for you. In the next 30 days, do at least one thing you've never done before, something that feels scary but exciting. Write a love letter to yourself. Join an art group. Start a journal or even a memoir. Just begin, even with one small step. Final thought: getting older is not an expiration date. It's when life becomes richer, deeper, more real. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to return to yourself, the free, passionate version of you with nothing left to prove. Don't count the years. Make the years count. A letter to the woman, 60 plus. You are still blooming, never fading to you. The woman who has lived through more than half a century of life. Perhaps you were once the tireless mother, the devoted wife, the dutiful daughter, the reliable colleague. You've given more than you've received. You've postponed dreams for the sake of others. You've been stronger than you ever knew. And today, when you look in the mirror, you may see a face marked by time. But your eyes still sparkle like they did in your 20s. Because you never stopped loving. You never stopped hoping. you never gave up. True growth begins the moment you stop fearing age. They once taught us that youth is the most beautiful season. But the truth is, youth is vibrant, but age is a golden sunset, calm, deep, and magnificent. At 60 plus, you've learned the value of silence. You don't need to speak loudly. The wisdom in your gaze is enough to make others listen. You don't need to fight for love, because you love yourself enough not to beg for anything fleeting. A second life begins the moment you give yourself permission to choose again. Ask yourself, if no one judged you, what would you do? If no one imposed limits, how would you live? If you knew it's never too late to start over, what would you choose? You're not too old to begin. You just need the courage to say, I deserve this. Cut your hair short if it makes you feel lighter. Dye it pink if it makes you feel radiant. Fall in love again if your heart still flutters. And walk away from anything that makes you feel small. Whether it's a relationship, an old belief, or the inner critic you've lived with too long. Aging doesn't shrink your world. It expands your soul. Now you have time to go inward. To understand what you truly want, need, and who you are beneath the roles you've played. Rewrite your story, not as an elderly woman, but as a woman living exactly in her right time. Aging doesn't weaken you. It frees you from fear. You no longer worry about what people think. You no longer need to prove your worth. Now, you get to live fully, just because you want to. Closing. You're not blooming again. You've never stopped blooming. Don't let anyone convince you that your light has dimmed. You are not the sunset. You are the sunrise of a brand new chapter. The world still needs your voice. Wise, warm, and true. Your family needs to see your joy, so they can learn how to love themselves. And you need to hold yourself and say, thank you. To the brave woman who survived, who loved, and who is still growing every single day. You're not just living, you're awakening. It's time for you to understand something truly important. You no longer live to please anyone. You no longer live to fit into an outdated mold. You're living to return to yourself. At 60 plus, you don't become less, you become richer. No more rushing, no more uncertainty. No more asking for permission to be who you are. You are like fine wine, deep, unique, and not for the shallow. Women at this age don't need to be rejuvenated. They need to be honored. The world may sell you thousands of anti-aging products, but someone needs to tell you this truth. You don't need to fight against time. You need to celebrate it. Every wrinkle tells a story. Every gray hair holds a memory. Every pain is proof that you've loved, you've lost, and you're still strong enough to keep going. Hold your head high. You are a living work of art, not because you stay young, but because you live authentically. Live like you are the lead character in a story you never dared to write. Every TV show, every magazine, every social media platform has made you believe youth is the golden time to shine. They were wrong. Adulthood is when the light inside you is no longer hidden by insecurity. It's when you don't need an audience. You already know you're amazing. And now, it's time for you to start that book without worrying about perfection. Knock on that door of opportunity without caring who laughs. Take the best photos of your life just because you believe you deserve to be seen. Now you are the flame, no longer the candle. When you were younger, you were the small light, trying to shine for everyone else. You were afraid of bothering others, afraid of being judged, afraid of not being good enough. But now, you are the blazing fire. You don't shine just to help others see the way. You shine so you can see yourself clearly. Stop apologizing for being different. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into a narrow world. Live bigger, love more, and laugh louder than ever. To you, the woman who is being reborn, you're not at the bottom of the hill. You're climbing to the peak that only those who have endured, loved fully, lost, and still kept moving forward can ever reach. 60 plus isn't the end of your youth. It's an invitation for you to live your most authentic self, without constraints, without shame, without fear. Part 3. Living as a work of art. When age becomes the color of experience. 1. Redefining old age. From decline to flourishing. These women teach us that 60 plus is not the remainder of life, but the most crucial chapter, where wisdom, freedom, and courage converge. Like Vera Wang revolutionizing fashion at 60, or Dr. Ruth Westheimer daring to discuss sexology despite societal taboos, they prove age is a license to live authentically, not a limitation. Chapter 2. Transforming Pain into Collective Strength. Lillian Weber sewed dresses for African children after losing her husband. Mrs. Nguyen Thi Ngoc planted forests to heal the pain of losing her son. They show that kindness is the most powerful remedy. When you use a weathered heart to love, every life scar becomes a chisel mark on a statue of resilience. 3. Old does not mean lonely. The power of connection. The Raging Grannies use songs to unite and fight. Phyllis Sues learns skydiving to bond with the young. They shatter the lonely old age stereotype by building bridges between generations. This reminds us, loneliness is a choice, not an inevitable consequence of aging. 4. Legacy isn't what you leave behind. It's what you keep creating. Dr. Gladys West was honored at 87. Mary Hobson translated classics post-retirement. They prove the greatest legacy is relentless contribution. Like an ancient tree still blooming, they teach us, a life's value isn't measured by time, but by how fully you burn in every moment. 5. Final invitation. You deserve to keep writing your story. Whether you're 65 or 95, remember, don't wait for a golden moment. Be like Wang Deshun, turning each day into an experiment. Transform "it's too late" into now or never. Like Mary Hobson learning a new language from scratch. Live as an unfinished masterpiece, for true beauty lies in the unpainted strokes and untold stories. Key message. Aging isn't about counting years. It's about making years count. Let these women remind you, the best canvas of your life is still waiting for your boldest brushstrokes.